what is this? Part 1, check that out. Did it myself without even a mirror using clippers. I just saved 20 bucks. Okay. Part 2, that was part 1 of the hair cutting thing. I'm quite proud of myself. Never cut my own hair. Let's see here. Thank you to Maxi Flirt. He has a rubber band free flight channel on YouTube, Maxi Flirt. And I was watching one of his videos on his models and asked him if he doped it, nitrate, butyrate dope. It's a material used to seal the tissue, shrink it. They use it on full-size planes too. And he said no, because it's hard to control the shrinkage over time, which would warp light structures. He uses Krylon, semi-gloss, just clear, and just dusts it. And so thank you to Maxi Flirt for that handy tip. It's a lot easier to find than model airplane dope. All I need to do is run to the hardware store, so I'll give it a try. A little update. I'm going to try to figure out how to actually video this thing flying. A little too much right thrust, and so that's easy to correct, but this little monster actually flies quite well. It's got a hard right turn. I'm worried that when I get the full winds of rubber in there, it's going to like spiral into the ground because of that right thrust. But I can simply cure that by drilling out that hole on that nose plug there, so the bearing can be moved over and then glued into place. It's looking good. Part 3. Hello, Brian. Question about sanding blocks. And so I should have, again, I'm totally prepared, just an example of the size of sandpaper I use. I use these sanding blocks actually for crafts and model airplaning. I have a piece of wood that I would use when I'm rawhide backing on straight edges. Just a block of wood. I'll get into the size of that. And this actually is a sanding block in its own way. You want to have something that has some give so I can fit the contours. You can actually, do that. And so I use 2 sanding blocks, this foamy thing. The tricky part is I can rip a standard sheet of sandpaper, sanding cloth, what have you, into 8 little sections that fit nicely on that. I don't glue them. Don't need to glue them. Don't glue them. Just grip them. And it's good for straight. And I can take the same thing, it's a little smaller than this, and just put it sideways on that, and that fits for doing the contours. And so these are my go-to for sanding blocks. For power wood removal, I use 80 grit. Other than that, 120, 240, 3, whatever it is, 400. It depends on how fine you want to do it, but 80 grit. This is probably 80 grit. I don't go down to 50 or 60 because it's just too coarse. 80 is a good means of wood removal. Sanding blocks, very simple. In this thing, I don't remember this. It has string follow, so I must have used it quite a bit, but this was like a prototype bow. I sold a few of them in this area. Some of the native people had scallops on the side. You've seen scallops over here. It goes beyond the Great Lakes region. But anyway, I found this upstairs, just languishing. It's been there for years. It's red oak. And the reason I never really approached these is there was just something about seeing the grain on here and then having those scallops I didn't care for, but I do believe this would be a worthwhile venture and look pretty cool, because the cool factor is important. If I recurve this to nullify this string follow in here, and then rawhide back it, yeah. And so I've never rawhide backed one of these things. I think it's going to be quite nifty. I don't know the length of it. It's about exactly that long. It has those nifty little diamond-like tips on there. I think this is a good candidate. It's never been greased, so I don't need to degrease it. It's just simply a matter of recurving it by steaming, not a huge recurve, just a little kick, and then rawhide backing it. So you'll see this, maybe I'll sell it, I don't know. It's not like I have too few bows hanging around here. You know, there's no need for me to hang on to this one. Anyway, thank you to Maxi Flirt. Thanks for saying that I've got show quality hair here. And thanks for watching this about the bow, and I hope this helped, Brian. It's all about sanding blocks. A wooden one that has no give, that can follow straight lines, and then a supple one that can, you can actually pinch that, round it to your specifications on there. That is it. It's time to put on my rubber boots. Well, actually, as soon as my employee gets back up here, she's checking the trails and brooming stuff. And continue my quest to remove marsh thistle, which was introduced in the early 20th century to the Great Lakes region, and it's eating up the country. Probably purchased as a landscape plant, believe it or not. A lot of these invasives that we see, baby's breath, which invades dunes, purple loosestrife, autumn olive, a lot of these things were introduced by wise people that wanted to throw them into the environment, weren't thinking ahead. So we all work to solve that riddle, to unroll that ball of twine. That is it. Have a good one. Thank you for watching.